Good evening, and now we are having some already technical issues. I don't see our speakers. They were just here on backstage with me. Let me see. Invite to stage. Okay.
There we go.
Great, Kelly. Good to have you. Thanks for your time.
Hello, Tommaso.
Fantastic.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. I was actually surprised when I clicked on launch. I didn't see you no longer, but I guess those tools are really great for engagement. And anyway, I'm really glad that you make the time that you're here. You're on screen with us. Manan raising hands. Yeah, I don't know what. And hand mic. Okay. Manan should be joining too in a couple of seconds again. Not sure what happened.
Awesome, everyone.
Hey, Manan. Sorry for that, Manan. I don't know what happened, but I clicked just on go live, and then you guys disappeared. But yeah, I'm glad it worked.
Yeah, all good. We'll just connect the camera to show the class as well.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. So I was just sharing with Kelly. It's a mix. It's a hybrid, right? So some are online on AirMeet. We have then a part of the class then also in person.
This is
And this is on campus. Yeah, that's the Sutarja Center. That's actually the main hub of UC Berkeley's Entrepreneurship and Technology Center, where we are having the class right now.
Hello, everyone. I guess I can't really see them, but hello, virtually. And greetings from Hong Kong.
Beautiful.
Awesome. I will be showing the camera soon. Give me 1 second.
Thank you, Anna.
All right, guys. I don't know how to position this, but you all can say hi to everyone online. Hey. Awesome. Cool.
I guess.
So,
Oh, wait a second.
what's the best angle?
Do you mind turning on the cam? Then.
Oh my God, so sorry. We'll redo that. Okay, now say hi to the class.
Hello.
Now we can see you. We were like, okay, we were just guessing. Hey, good to see you guys.
Okay, I don't know what angle is best, but we'll figure this out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll put it towards the corner. But I will find out the best spot for this. Okay, fantastic.
Can you guys hear us okay? Class, can you hear us okay? Yes?
Hello?
Should be good. Oh my God. Sorry. We'll fix this. Okay, fantastic. We are all good.
You know how many are at ETH Denver?
Definitely quite a few. I think around 10 people. So
okay,
definitely great to see a lot of people going to Denver.
That's awesome. That's really great. And they definitely have also the chance to review this video, Kelly, because it's recorded and it's stay basically here within our centralized repository of this tool, AirMeet. Okay. So we'll be kicking off things in 2 minutes sharp so that we are respectful of everybody's time. And again, the logistic we'll be having from 6:40-ish, Kelly sharing her lessons learned about the MadWorld, focusing on tokenization, value creation, and overall really the experiences, right, Kelly?
Can you guys hear it?
Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Yes, we're good. We're good. Just raising the volume here.
Okay, fantastic.
Awesome.
And I will be also doing the following. I'll be deleting the backdrop here, remove so that we have a bigger screen. Should be better now. And then for the second part, starting, let's say, with 6:25-ish, we'll be kicking off our the mentoring, right? Similar to what we had last time. So one mentor, one group, and then during the mentoring session, I shared with you a framework today, or a guideline on how you would like to approach the mentoring itself, by introducing the assignments, and then basically presenting what you're doing, and going into the mentoring itself, guided by questions. And well, without further ado, I see the class here should be also already okay. It's very small here also, my screen. You guys okay? Should we kick off things? Manan, are you there?
Yes, we're all set. Woo! Let's get it.
Excited.
Awesome.
Excited.
A round of applause for the speaker. Yes. Woo!
Excited. Well, first of all, class, I'm very excited. Another Thursday, another class day focused on entrepreneurship, and not just from a theoretical perspective. My mission as a co-instructor when it comes to the entrepreneurial part is to have handpicked, really, in my opinion, maybe globally, some of the most valuable, and I was about to use the word best brains, most experienced leaders in the market, that can share with us their experiences, where they stand with the world of metaverse, Web3, decentralized application, and blockchain and tokenomics, right? And today, I met Ashkar a couple of weeks ago through a business environment, right? Through Upland. Kelly and I were having a first chat, right? And I generally mean it, Kelly. I was hooked and impressed about your experience, and also the capability of transforming complexity into simplicity, the way that you expressed it. And I thought, well, if you don't ask, you don't know. Are you available to talk? And here is Kelly. Before she kick off
Tommaso,
things,
you may have frozen. Not sure if we lost you.
Okay, so wait a second. Can you see Tommaso? Can you see Tommaso?
Kelly, are you there?
I'm here.
Can you guys see me?
Okay, fantastic. I think we may have lost Tommaso for a second, but I believe he was just giving the introduction to MadWorld.
3, 2, 1. Can you guys see me? Hear me? 3, 2, 1.
Yes, now you're back.
Can you guys see me? I'm posing. Can you guys see me?
Yes. We can see
Okay,
you.
fantastic. Okay, guys. Thanks for the patience. Yeah, it's all digital. Okay, cool. I don't know where you lost, or where we lost, and the conversation broke up. I was saying that I genuinely admire the way and the capability that Kelly was converting this topic of metaverse, Web3, and decentralized application. And I invited her. She accepted. Thank you so much, Kelly. Before you kick off things, I would like really 2 sentences about yourself, and then you can take the stage from here. Kelly is a digital marketing veteran with over 20 years of exposure in telco, media, and technology sector. She also has, as a tech enthusiast, and most recently co-founded a blockchain project called MadWorld.io that she will be double-clicking on today. And the MadWorld.io is a joint venture opportunity with Animoca brands. And for those who have already heard, we are going to have in a couple of weeks, I think in 2-3 weeks time, Yatsu in class. So right now he is here in Silicon Valley. I met him already. And then he will coming to class, who is the chairman and founder of the Animoca brands. Animoca brands is a leading blockchain organization headquartered in Hong Kong. Kelly is also the head of strategic alliances for the newly formed Animoca Japan entity. that officially launched in December of 2021. So very recently, right, Kelly? So congratulations on that. Again, thank you so much. Please, class, join me on a big round of applause for Kelly. That is taking the time. Awesome.
Thank you, Marcelo, and thank you everyone for your time, and really would enjoy the next sort of 30 minutes to 60 minutes with you guys. So let me just kick it off. I guess today it's all about value creation. So one of the things I wanted to go through is the project that I recently launched, and going through some of the details. So it will be a good way for anyone to kind of understand how do we take something from zero to hero, right? So MAD actually stands for Multiverse Artist Defender, right? That's what MAD stands for. And MadWorld effectively is this platform that connects sort of physical assets and digital assets into this metaverse world, right? So what we've been doing really well recently is we're engaging a lot of brands and IPs, right? Brands like the likes of, your Nikes and Coca-Cola. These would be brands. Your Jimmy Choo, these are brands. And then on the IP side, these would be anywhere from your Disney characters, your Marvel characters. And in Japan, of course, there's a lot of there's a large list of publishers in the toy and anime sector.
Tomato, you there? Not sure if we lost Kelly for a second.
Hello?
I hear Kelly. I do hear Kelly. Do you hear me?
We do. We are not able to hear Kelly.
Kelly,
how about now?
I hear you. Can you guys hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so where did I stop?
Okay, great. We're back.
Can you guys see the slides?
Yes, slides look great.
Okay, did we talk about did you guys hear what MAD stands for? So Multiverse Artist Defender. All good? Right?
Yes. We'll resume from there.
All right. So as I was saying, there are a lot of brands and IPs that are coming to us wanting to work with us and try to enter the metaverse. So brands, for example, will be the likes of, your Nikes, your Coca-Cola, your any of your major fashion brands. Those are all in the brand sector. And then we have IPs, which are the likes of your Disney characters, right? In Japan, the bigger ones are like Hello Kitties, and you've got a lot of big toys and anime, like, for example, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Sailor Moon. A lot of these are what we would call IPs. And we're collaborating with a lot of these IPs, bringing them to the metaverse, and there's a lot of engagement directly with the brands themselves, which is a lot of times for brands is a way to engage consumers. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause just to ensure that everyone's hearing me. Yeah, all good.
I can hear you.
Yes, look
all right.
Thank you.
Okay, so and then one of the biggest question is, well, everyone's talking about, oh, should I do my own token? Should I launch a token? How do I enter the metaverse? So just recently, one of the opportunity that we have is there's this new fashion brand that wants to come into the metaverse and is interested in creating a token. So normally, before even going into wanting to create something like that, we basically ask a few questions, and we want to ensure that we have that sort of value chain to support them. So first of all, we always want to make sure that we have a clear purpose for issuing the token. Well, what is the purpose of the token? Are you trying to do a fundraise? Are you creating this loyalty structure within your ecosystem or your project where you're allowing your users to engage and interact with the token? So really define that purpose around the objective around issuing the token, because, and I'll go on in the later part of the slides, there are a lot of work that you have to do to maintain the token, right? So it's not you launch it and that's it, right? Unless it's a rug pull, but otherwise, the second thing is the ability to understand, is the token really solving a problem, right? Because we hear a lot about these tokens being sort of managed by what we call the DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. So anyone who has the token, owns the token, basically they have some sort of rights within your platform and ecosystem. And then thirdly, obviously looking at having the right technology to support your project, right? Do you need anywhere from developers who can help you build out the platform that you need? Are you interested to set up the platform on other chains rather than Ethereum, right? Let's say on Polygon, for example, right? So, and because when you decide which technology you want to work with, there are a lot of support available also from a funding and dev support perspective from those chain projects themselves. And then at the end of the day, I think it's really important to understand for token projects in general, at least for the Animoca project specifically, it's all about the community. Right. So if your community is not happy, if you're not building the right community, then you don't have a strong project. So that's sort of some of the key points that we will go through for anyone that really is ready to start off a token project. Moving on to the next slide. So the other thing is we always want to ensure that we have a clear narrative around how do we as an advisory, when we work with any project potential, is to help them identify and understand what the possibilities are. So let's take an IP, for example. You know, if you have Mickey Mouse coming to us or Disney coming to us and say, hey, we've got a bunch of characters. What can we do together? So discovering the possibilities may mean that we say, hey, let's take Mickey Mouse and we can create an NFT for the Mickey Mouse. And this could be a character that goes into a play to earn game where the character will be able to battle, for example, right? So that's being able to discover some possibilities at a very early stage, what that narrative should be for the character and the NFT and its utilities. Secondly, as part of the Animoca ecosystem, there are a lot of existing token projects and successful metaverses, Upland being one of them, right? And there's an opportunity for these IP not only to launch its own NFT, but to be able to coexist in multiple metaverses. And this is where we come in and we identify some of the key ones that would probably make sense for them, either because they are designed in a way that has the graphical representation that does that really well, or because the character itself is innately really friendly for the environment that's already there, right? So, for example, if a brand like Lego comes along, it would work really well in a sandbox environment, which is a very pixelated type experience, right? And then for a lot of the IPs that we work with specifically, they're more of a, I wouldn't use the word old school, but they're very traditional. So they're very experienced in the traditional licensing space. But when it comes to Web3, it's really something very new for them. So there's a whole entire sort of digital transformation for the organization themselves in terms of managing IP distribution in a Web3 environment. And oftentimes in those cases, we ask them to come in as a joint venture partner because we want them to be fully committed to distributing the entire Web3 strategy and not just treating us as let's just license the IP, give me an MG and go. So MGs are minimum guarantees that licensing companies usually ask whenever you want to work with their IPs. And then the final bit, obviously, at the tip is really getting them to that Web3 experience. Are we good over here? All good? Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide. Oops. And this sort of extending to what I was just saying right now, there's multiple metaverses that we can engage projects. Specifically, when you look at the Animoca ecosystem, this is only a few of the ones that I work closer with, and just to kind of showcase what they are. They're each one has different elements that are interesting. So starting with, let's say, Gamey. Gamey is a mini game platform. They recently launched, so on the Web 2, that's a mini game platform. On the Web 3, they've created their own NFT. It's this robot, Gbot, and they have a game platform called Arc 8. And that's they also have their own token, GMEE, Gamey. You can have a look at it. If for references, I don't know how many of the class here of you guys actually look at crypto in general, but CoinGecko.com is a reference, will be a good site for you to kind of look at how some of these tokens are performing or how they kind of trend and their historical price. Quid is a digital collectibles platform. So, you know, when some of us, when we were younger, there were these baseball cards or basketball cards that we would collect, the physical ones, right? This is very similar, but in digital format. And they are Web 2 moving into Web 3. So a lot of their digital collectibles now are potentially mintable into NFTs. Are we okay with those jargons, minting, NFTs? All good? Right. Okay. Just making sure that we have a crowd that understands that. All right. And then moving on to Rev Motorsports. That is that's a racing one, motorsports one. There is, and the brand collabs there. You have like MotoGP, there was F1, and then there's obviously in the plan more opportunities working with car manufacturers in general. Sandbox, that's one of the bigger metaverses that should a lot of you may have heard of. There's a lot of publicity around them recently, especially in Hong Kong, because they launched 2 major projects. One, it's called Megacity 1 and Megacity 2. So some of the top Hong Kong real estate giants have gone in and taken up a lot of big plots of land. And then you have different landmarks around here taking up lands and really building experiences there. So, I mean, the equivalent would be, you know, in LA, Disneyland, Universal Studio, Hollywood comes in and start building their metaverse experiences in Sandbox, right? That would be the equivalent. And then MadWorld is us. We're relatively new. We're I would say under a year right now. But by taking things from zero to hero, there was a lot of learning. So I think today, one of the opportunity here is to kind of share with everyone what that learning was. UCollects is a sister company that does something very similar to Quid, except the collectibles and the marketplace that exists have the artworks ready for Web3, mintable. And it's also a platform that has aggregated a lot of creators and artists, so they can easily output 3D objects. And then there's an opportunity to take those digital items and turn them into physical toys. So that's UCollects. Bondly, it's a relatively new one. They provide a lot of NFT solutions for folks that wants to look at taking NFTs and moving it across different platforms. So coexisting and what we would call interoperability. And then finally, Limpo is a one that's very focused on athletes and sports. Sort of from a vertical perspective. So these are the ones that I tend to work closer with, and that's why they're on the slide specifically. But this is out of, you know, these are the few out of the hundreds that are in the portfolio. And at the top, there's 3 that's really interesting because they've done really, really well. Tower is it's a tower defense game that Animoca owns. This is a token that they recently launched. Those are market cap numbers at the top on the token side. And then you have Axie Infinity. I'm sure all of you have heard of them. So Axie Infinity, Animoca was an early stage investor into Axie, both on the equity side and the token side. So that was a really good move. And the other one is Flow. I'm sure most of you have heard of Flow. Flow is the NBA Top Shot platform, the chain, and all part of Dapper Lab. So that's sort of a quick snapshot of when we talk about unparalleled collaboration is going into this larger space, working with different project owners. All right. I'm going to pause and move on to the next one. So starting with the case study today. So MAD as a case study. I've taken a bit of our investor pitch deck, the slides, and then I go to one of our NFT campaigns. And this is basically the collection of content shared today, right? So I guess not going too much, but this is a slide that talks about basically our vision, right? We are the NFT platform for both real world and digital collectibles, where the value and the provenance of the artist and creator are protected on the multiverse. So that's the high-level vision. We talk about how we empower artists and creators across the board. And then we briefly talk about that we are deploying a DAO with some tools and features within the DAO, allowing for the art to be protected and the verification process to be there. And then the UMAD token acts as a governance token and a utility token around that. This talks about more about how the DAO actually works. This is very high level. It's probably something that you see from if you Google DAO in general. But what comes out of this is we're launching our platform beginning of May. With features allowing large interest groups, vertical interest groups. For example, if you're a major social influencer in the music space, for example, you can come in and create your own NFT programs, and your fans and followers will use the DAO as a way to request for what they find as a most popular item that they want to see. So it's almost like a fan token type concept. This is kind of zooming in a little bit. If you look at some of our collectibles, we have physical pieces of these collectibles too. So depending on sort of where the project starts with the brand or the IP, usually there is a digital representation first, and then there is the physical toys. The way we link the two is we use an NFC chip or QR code that basically allows the consumers to view the digital certification of the toy and the product through an NFT structure, right? With the metadata being there. We talk a lot about value proposition and a unique sort of positioning. And one of our unique positioning is we talk about being one of the platform that originates content. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a very large group of artists and creators that work with us. We do curate some of the content, but in the longer run, it's for a lot of independent artists to come in and really they do what they're good at, which is drawing and designing and creating. Maybe some of them are not very good at turning things into sort of the digital piece, right? So we can help digitize some of the stuff for them. But ultimately, all the content that's created becomes what we call a digital representation of it through a minting process. So we'll help them turn it into NFT, and then we'll also help them monetize it through the NFTs. This is Limits Digital Art Battle is one of our projects that we use for content origination, where we bring artists together and they battle based on a specific theme, right? So the theme is chosen at the spot. It's a spectator event. It's very similar to esports, right? So you've got the two artists, they're designing something. Let's say the theme is, beautiful tree, right? And then these two artists will start drawing. And the final piece, there's a panel of judge. The final piece gets selected and then also gets minted as NFT on the platform. And then further down the road, one of the things that we've done is that most of the items most of the digitization of IPs and products that you see will be in 3D format because we have this enhanced consumer experience where we want to make sure that these assets can be taken into what we call in a VR environment. This is an example of us collaborating with a brand. This one specifically is a manufacturer of toy cars, Tomica. And it's really creating a 3D version of the car and then framing it into a digital frame. I mean, this entire image here is actually a digital image, and it's an NFT that you can buy on the platform. So moving on to the platform, I'm going to skip through this, but the key takeaway here is that consumers on one side, they engage with the brands through the NFTs, and then we have sort of upstream and downstream. We have artists and creators, and then we have the platform for distribution and monetization. And then in the middle, obviously, the creation of the NFTs is the functional way of how artists and creators are being defended. So one of our goals, of course, is democratizing content creation, right? So this is probably a simplified version of the previous slide, but effectively, just to reiterate, artists, creators, and exclusive IPs, they continue to do what they're doing best, and we help them use the blockchain technology to distribute and proliferate. And then with the NFT technology, specifically, most of the NFTs that we've done so far is built on the Ethereum chain on ERC 721. But this is we're working alongside some of the other NFT solution providers to move them into other chains. Marketplace, this is where the NFTs will exist. There are first-party marketplaces and third-party marketplaces. So the likes of OpenSea, Rareables, those are all third-party. All of the NFTs that we create will go into the third-party for sure, naturally. And then we will also have our own marketplace, and the marketplace will go live in about 2 months. And ultimately is making sure that the communities are always connected through these creators and brands. And this is just a quick snapshot of V1. This is more of an alpha that we were playing around with. So there's an element where you can see a lot of creators there. And then there is, this is where the second screen is the store where you can actually purchase. And then there's a separate marketplace that comes out where you can, as someone who's already bought an item, you can relist it to sell. And this third one here, it's just it's your own user profile page and all of the NFTs that you've purchased. Moving on, as part of the pitch deck, it's always important to have good brand names, investors, tech partners, as part of your sort of support group, right? To ensure that you get a lot of support, and at the same time, you've got a good group of people that can help you across the different aspects of your project launched. In our case, on the funding side, we were very lucky to have Animoca Brands come in as a joint venture. So that meant that from a funding perspective, we were able to ensure that even if nobody decided to, come on to this project, Animoca Brands will still support us on a funding perspective. But I think the good news is we had a lot of support. These are some of the crypto funds that came on. We've also brought in a custodial service provider like Hex Trust. And we've got a digital bank from Switzerland, Seba Bank. They also came in, and some of the early stage Animoca token project supporters, they're all in here. Okay, now going straight to the token itself. Picking the name of the token actually is also an art and a science, because in crypto, token tickers are not unique. Right. So we wanted to go with MAD at first, but there was like 5,000 MADs. So we're like, okay, we can't do MAD anymore. Let's go with UMAD, MADT, MADT. So we finally, everyone decided, okay, let's just go with UMAD. And with the token, there's a couple of things. Number one is to really understand what's the utility around the token. And how would the token be used across the project? So a couple of things. In our case, we use the token as a way to reward artists across the board. So if they are trading and listing things on our marketplace, and for every transaction, they will earn our token. For token investors and consumers in general, if you hold our token, you are eligible to buy some exclusive NFT that's only available on our token, right? So it's almost like a VIP token in this case. Then we have the earn and stake. If you go to most crypto project, these two are very big keywords that all platforms tend to use, simply because this is where, as an investor of the token, or even as a retail investor of the token, when you hold on to that token, you earn more of this token, right? And how do you earn more of this token is you can either stake, which is putting it into a platform to earn more token, or you can buy certain exclusive NFT and you can stake the NFTs, right? So the staking of the token can happen at the ERC20 level, which is the UMAT token, or the ERC721 level, which is your NFTs. All right, okay, so let's kind of move on. This is tokenomics. I think this is probably the highlight of today's presentation, right? I think everyone wanted to understand. So tokenomics is basically, in the traditional sense, it's basically your use of funds, right? How do you deploy the money that you bring on, at least at the beginning? This is a very typical example of a breakdown, and I'm going to go through each of the items, and later on, if you guys have questions, please feel free. So first of all, platform and DAO rewards. When I talked about, stake and earn, and encouraging creators to come in and making sure that people hold our token, they're earning a good yield on the token, that all comes out of this pool, which is the platform and DAO rewards. Okay, so the second one is marketing. Marketing is anything from making that little banner that shows up on Twitter, to all of the video that you send, all of the AMAs that we run. All of that will be marketing. Maybe, if we even have a live event that we launch with another brand, for example, that will be part of the marketing fund, right? Even from your Google search campaign, for example, that'll be marketing. Moving on to then the content and developer funds, that's more for tech, and also a bit of the creative content that we come up with, right? So this is a sort of, you could say the marketing fund and the content developer fund could potentially be shared, but basically it's for bringing on external resources that does something really well, and we want to reward them, right? The fourth one is a very interesting one because this is very native to crypto, which is Liquidity Pool. And Liquidity Pool basically is the bucket that you use to take a token live, list it on a DEX, a decentralized exchange, or a centralized exchange, right? So, and this may mean that, let's say you set up on Uniswap or you set up on Pancake, right? And these are decentralized names of the decentralized exchanges, right? So this is where your liquidity pool fund goes to make sure that there's enough supply and it's being traded and so forth, right? Of course, we can talk about, market making and all of that, all of the goodies, but that basically comes out of the liquidity pool. And then team and advisor, that's an easy one. That's basically headcount, staff, consultant, advisors, people that you feel that when you bring them on board, they will add value to your project, whether from an investment perspective or from a marketing perspective or from any other opportunities, right? So that's the team and advisor pool. Company reserve, that's almost the sort of the cash that you don't touch, the money that you don't touch. It's just there. Hopefully you never have to touch it. And then the last two, the one that I have highlighted, is the money that you get from the market. Right. So this is the initial funding that you get, and we call it the strategic pre-sale, or typically in the traditional sense, equity sense, it will be your seed and pre-series A round, I would say. Right. But then funny enough, from pre-series A to seed, you jump straight to like IPO, right? So public sale would be your IDO. Well, there's different terminologies around it over the last, couple of months, but the current one we use is TGE. It means token generation event. And that is the day that the token goes live and available for public trade. Right. And in our case, we've raised 6%. At 6% at the pre-sale stage and 0.5% during public sale. We issued total of 10 billion token altogether. And when we launched the project, it was at approximately $100 million valuation. Couple of key takeaway here. I think I've highlighted in this brown box down here. So it's just some key takeaways. Should I pause here? Any questions, or we'll leave it at the end? Till the end. Leave it till the end. Okay. Okay, moving on. Then sort of, so we talked about from zero to hero, right? So we're halfway to hero because we successfully launched the token, but now we actually need activity in the market to ensure that the community is all there supporting it, because you actually have content to talk about. So what we've done is we've tested a artist collab and also an IP collab on an NFT launch. So the two that you see here, one was with a DC comic illustrator, Pat Lee. He created new line art for a collection called Mad Minds. Basically, it's a series of 8 scientists that started off with Einstein, and then we have Tesla following. This is an ongoing campaign. What some of the key data points? So we sold out in 60 minutes. We had the original mint at 0.06 ETH. The current floor price is 0.1 ETH, and the highest selling Einstein was 5 ETH. In terms of numbers, I would say it was successful from a sold out perspective, but from a community thinking it's a great project, I think we still have some work to do, if you ask me. But I mean, that's the honest opinion. I think there's a lot of key learnings around each and every one of these NFT projects, making sure that we're getting the right social influencers that are helping us, making sure that we're promoting it correctly. For Mad Minds, interesting enough, we also ran an extreme ping pong social influencer campaign out in LA with some of these YouTubers that you guys may have heard, with Eric being the one leading it. We found that the Web 2 and Web 3 didn't exactly gel as well as we hoped for in terms of the audience reach was interesting. But in terms of conversion, if we talk about actual conversion, Web3 crypto NFTs, they still have a very different group of people that are looking at different channels, I would say. So just some key takeaway. BDuck is a Hong Kong IP that recently IPO'd in Hong Kong. It's this yellow rubber duck, basically. We did 4,000 of them, and we sold out in 5 hours, which was really good. We sold out in 5 hours because we had a small technical glitch that there were too many people coming to the server and it crashed us. So we had a bit of a downtime. We had about an hour downtime. And then when we went back on again, people still came back. So nobody was really, really mad. Everyone just wanted an NFT. And the mint price was 0.08 ETH. At the time, ETH was trading at 3,600 US, I believe, plus or minus. Floor price, 0.1 ETH. And then high selling duck was 19 ETH. So that's sort of some background data to the NFT campaigns. This is just showing you when you do a campaign, it's important to kind of get your ducks in a row, no pun intended, but basically in terms of your rarity design, your metadata design, testing the layers for the PFPs itself. So these ducks, as you see, they come in different layers, right? And what happened was some of the layers just didn't work. So for example, you see like the headphones, right? So for some of them, it just covered the mouth, or it just didn't work well. So not all the ducks were able to have the headphones, or you see that coffee cup that they're holding. There's another one with an axe. I don't know where that one is. Anyway, there's a lot of really interesting details to learn about how to ensure that you're doing the layers correctly, so you don't have an awkward output, because this machine generated, right? And it's also important to plan the utility based on rarity really early. So for example, in our case, we had 3 levels. We had the rare, At the lowest level, we had the epics, and then we had the legendary. And adding gamification, for example, is really important. And the last bit is also, it's important to make sure whenever you launch these NFT PFP ones, you must have them listed in these rarity index, like rarity snipers, rarity tools, so that when users actually buy it, they want to see how the duck ranks. This is just the campaign site, just a way to kind of, how do we launch it? It's usually there's a campaign site where you can view the collection. Before the collection is sold out, there's actually a minting page. So, and then this is also important to have the communities all set up properly. So your Discord, your Twitter, your Telegram, Facebook and Instagram are more for the purpose of, because we were working with a traditional IP. They had those channels already live. So it was just another channel for distribution. The little duck at the top, that's the mecha duck. Let's see, I'll talk about it in the next slide. So this is our OpenSea page.
And maybe Kelly, just real quick, I want to take another 5-7 minute questions. Maybe you want to wrap up and then we go into some class questions. This would be awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I think there's 2 more slides. This is just, I'm not going to go through that. That's just the page. And this is really the last slide, which is adding utility to your NFTs, right? So for us, what we've noticed is that, first of all, we're going to do a free mecha duck drop, which is the machine itself. So for people who've owned ducks, they will get a free machine. And then they will need to breed their ducks to get a second generation duck as a pilot for the ducks, for the mecha ducks. And then finally, these mechas go into a play to earn game where you battle. And if you battle, you win more tokens. And that's actually it for the sharing this today. Thank you.
This has been fantastic. A lot to unpack. These are real life lessons learned class. Exactly. Yes. Big round of applause here, right? Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, well, who has some questions, please? We take maybe 1 or 2 questions, 3 questions, depending. Yeah, we have 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Questions? Who would like to go first? Some questions.
So,
yeah, go for it.
When you were defining your tokenomics, right? So, how do you decide upon the allocation in terms of your team and the community, and also for the collaborators you'll be bringing on for the future use? So what was your mindset behind those numbers?
Okay. So we were actually very lucky because we got to look at a few different tokenomics from other token projects from the Animoca ecosystem, right? And it oftentimes depends on how heavy does the project involve bringing on sort of creative content coming in, right? So third-party content. So for us, our project had a big group of creator and artists that we want to make sure that they're rewarded properly. That's why we had that content and developer fund set up. And also we had a heavier pot on the platform and DAO reward, because one of the ways that we've designed the platform is we want to incentivize the artist through that pot also. So for us, when we designed the numbers, a lot of it was around how do we ensure that the community will be happy in the longer term, right? So for us, we had a heavier lot on the platform and DAO reward, and also on the content and developer fund. The rest is pretty standard. Like for example, for Liquidity Pool, it's a very standard. You don't deviate much. Probably depend on whether you're going on 10 exchanges or you selectively choose the good ones, right? So in our tokenomics, it's based on the recommendation from Animoca.
Okay, so great advantage of being part of the pool. Yes, please. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go for it.
Follow up on that. I noticed that there was only a small sliver in the public offering, and yet you have millions of tokens. If you were to sell those large quantities of tokens, it would probably, I guess, lower the value of the tokens that are on the market. So I'm wondering how you kind of are negotiating that value system?
Yeah, that's a very good question. A lot of projects actually sell about 10 to 15%, rather than in our case, we did 6.5%, right? The reason we did that is because we didn't want to give up so much token at a very early stage, because this is when your token is at its lowest price, right? So we wanted to make sure that there aren't so much supply on the market at the really beginning, simply because we want to make sure that the community feels as when it grows with the project, it's also rewarded by the token. And thus we've selected a smaller percentage. But I think also from a technical sort of supply and demand, right? If you have less supply in the market, it's probably also a good way to control the price a little bit, which is, I think that should be an offline comment, but yeah, it's basically a way to figure it out, what you want to do before putting so much token out there. Now, having said that, there are two schools of thoughts, right? There are platforms that, like, for example, you could look at Looks, Look, Looks Rare, right? They or OpenDAO, SOS, that token, they basically launched super aggressively. They were giving out a lot of token day one, right? That's also another way to do it. And there's two different ways. I would say the other way is also very smart and creative, because that's the best way to do user acquisition in a fast and easy way. So, for example, the OpenDAO is a classic example, and Looks Rare is exactly the same. What they did is they gave anyone an opportunity to claim tokens if you had an OpenSea account or if you had an OpenSea transaction, right? So, if you think about it, where would be a better place to acquire users with crypto wallets? On OpenSea, right? So they were basically acquiring users day one by giving out their tokens, right? Is that right or wrong? I would say it was done quite well, and it's an intelligent move. We just didn't do that because our platform is not built to kind of map the wallets that are in existence. For example, for these larger platforms, and say, hey, we can give you tokens because you have an OpenSea wallet. But could we have done that? Yeah, maybe we should have, because they did really well day one by launching their token, right? There was a lot of supporters already. Because for a project to be successful, one of the key elements is to look at total wallet holders, right? So whether it's synthetic or inorganic, whatever you want to call it, they did a good job by actually bringing on a lot of wallet holders organically and inorganically, right? People were coming on because they were given free tokens. So I hope that answers your questions.
Great questions. Klaas, another question. Let's take another one. Yeah, please, go ahead.
So currently the NFTs are holding our many projects.
You're too far away. Do you mind just getting closer to the mic, please? Very kind of you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So currently there are many NFT projects. What was your strategy to differentiate yourself?
That's a very good one. Content origination is our biggest differentiation. So we have, so we're not only creating our own content per se, we're actually bringing on unique artists where we're curating the content for these artists coming on. So the content origination is a very big piece, and also content origination working with IPs that are exclusive to our platform. So that's our biggest differentiation from an NFT marketing perspective. From a tech perspective, we are operating under a vision of making sure that the NFTs that we create are actually available to coexist in a few of the chosen metaverse that we're working with. So for example, with the case in Sandbox, let's say I bring in a character like Mickey Mouse, right? So we design, for example, a black and white Mickey Mouse with gold eyes, for example. And this Mickey Mouse, when we create that NFT, we already create the smart contract that exists on the Polygon version for Sandbox.
Very intriguing. Well, Kelly, I think we could keep you here for hours, but we have another 10 folks in line that are now going to have one-on-ones. And I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Please, class, join me on a big round of applause for Kelly Leung. Kelly, this was really make some noise, right? I'm so impressed. You know, it's a new topic, right? These are super tangible experiences. She shared tools, she shared quantification, tokenomics, right? Use cases, right? I think this has been really valuable. And I see here some hand claps digitally and some hearts and some, yeah, exactly. Please click on that, right? Kelly, thank you so much for joining, for taking the time, right, and allowing our students of UC Berkeley students to pick your brain. If there is anything we can do for you, right? Anything that you wanna shout out before you leave us here, Kelly?
Yes, follow us on Twitter and on Discord. And actually, ping me. I'll get you guys whitelisted on the next NFT.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really cool. You heard it, class. Whitelisted on NFT. Thank you so much, Kelly. I'll see you next time. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too, everyone.
Sorry, we have one question.
Sure.
Kelly, some of the students were asking what's the best way to reach you?
Oh, okay. Should I send the my email address or? Yeah, email address probably works well. Yeah, or one of
you decide. Then you have 60 emails in your inbox.
I know. Kelly, it's easy. It's Kelly at madworld.io.
Okay, awesome. That's perfect.
Thank
you, Kelly. You have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks again to Kelly for taking the time. I know, class, I myself would have had a lot of questions. So apologize that we cannot, take a lot of questions simply because we have just the 90 minutes. And I would like to provide the maximum here in this entrepreneurial setting, which is on one hand, lessons learned from entrepreneurs. I think this was super valuable. We are updating also the landing page of the course. You're going to see the next speaker series is coming up, what topic they're going to talk about, right? So this is very exciting. And the format that we have following the speakers is mentors, right? That you will be having one-on-ones. In fact, I see them here already. Good evening, dear mentors. I see them online. I want to start sharing the screen because I would like now share screen just to give you an overview about what mentor is going to mentor what group. Let me take here the right. Okay, great. This should be now the overview. So today is February 17th, and we have Alan, who will be mentoring the project Block SME. Second in line, Lior Koriat, that will be mentoring Sesame. Linda Young. We have still here named sustainability, or maybe if you want to, dear group, if you would like to update this, but it's sustainability. And the reason why I'm saying the same names is because these names, they will be reflected in the lounge at the tables, right? Then we have Matthew Taylor, who will be mentoring Insider. Reward Coin, previously fake news, but changed name to Reward Coin. And Jen with Team Healthcare. Matthew Goulet with Apollo. Citadel with still education here. Education. And okay, here we need a name too, please. Then we have Jose Rocchini actually wrote me just right now an email that is not going to join. He had to put some fire off. Okay, so Kalachi, I'll be joining you in the lounge, and then we have Inder with Mona Lisa's art. Any questions? Anything that we would like to share before moving on? Okay, cool. Then I will be paused here the session. One too many. Thank you, Manan, for your support, and I'll see you then at 8 p.m. sharp to wrap up the class. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Hey guys, I hope I am live. I just see my screen right now. I hope I am live. Awesome. We are all back. Okay, cool. Raise hand, Manan. Thank you, Manan. Up, hand a mic. Fantastic. I jumped into a mentoring session as I was just also getting some messages that there were some mentors not there and some startups also not available. Manan, are you there? Manan? Sorry, guys, for whomever is watching this right now. I am just watching my screen and I don't have any sense if I am live or not. I see a couple of folks online. If Manan can... okay, fantastic. Hey, Manan.
Awesome, we're here.
Hey.
Cool, just bringing the class back together here.
Fantastic, fantastic. I heard that there were some missing mentors. Please share. I saw that here. I'm just catching up on the Slack messages. Yeah, okay.
There were a couple missing mentors and one team.
I know of one, but who?
I believe there were two.
Okay, maybe the class we would like, please class, if you can share if your mentor, right? We have a screenshot of what mentor should have mentored what group, right? We can share that in the Slack, and then we will be sorry for that, but obviously, as you might imagine, I cannot more than the coordinate and getting double confirmations and guiding every mentor. The rest is out of my control, so sorry for that. I would like to thank all mentors that actually made it. Very much. I would thank you very much for dedicating the time. Maybe if you want to flip the screen to the class, or is the class not there yet? Guys, how was the mentorship? Okay, fantastic. How was the mentorship class? Make some noise here. Was it of value?
Yeah, please clap for the mentors. Woo!
Okay, fantastic. That's fantastic. I will be, so Manan and Tim, Dan, and I will be updating the online agenda, so that you guys are going to see who is going to be speaking next, right? We will be having always an average of mentors for each class. We have a really great relationship and dedicated mentors that participate with us. So this is really what we care, right? We are going to have in March, on the 15th and on the 17th, we're going to have number 1 of 3. So the first one of 3 presentations. Okay, that's going to be 15th and on the 17th, right? Throughout the period up until the 15th, we're going to learn value proposition design. We're going to learn how to enchant Silicon Valley investors, the art of storytelling. Both topics will be led by me, that I will be doing then in person. Okay, we have obviously the one or the other guest lecturer that last minutes need to shift things. That's life, right? I mean, the things happen, okay, but we're trying always to stick to what we said. And I am going to announce here that I will be holding on the, I think with it, it's tomorrow in 2 weeks. I'm going to hold office hours. Okay. This is office hours, meaning that for those teams that would like to have some dedicated one-on-one time with me from an entrepreneurial perspective, I will be sharing exactly the date. I think it's in 10 days, in 2 weeks. It's Friday, not this coming Friday, but the Friday after. I will sharing the exact date. So you can prepare with a lot of questions, okay, so that we can ping pong a couple of ideas, okay. And I want to be there for you from the entrepreneurial perspective and assist you on what you need, okay. Also, you have my Slack channel. If there is anything that you would like to know during the week, please feel free to reach out. And I will be posting an assignment, which is just becoming riper in what we are doing. Today we have the competitive analysis. Most of you should have had the persona, right? But I can share already with you the main topic that is at the center of the phase that we are in right now, which is value creation, right? We can only create value if we have the evidence that somebody needs it. How do you get the evidence? You are now encouraged, and you should be motivated to start reaching out to your persona or to the persona that you think is the persona. Okay, so start basically creating either forms to reach out in Facebook groups, Instagram groups. Talk. The more you talk with real folks, I always say you should have 10 Zoom calls with your persona. Okay, that's basically a central mission in the entrepreneurial journey, in the startup journey. So please be encouraged to do that. Okay. Anything that I can answer you right now? Anything that you would like to share with me right now? Is there any fires that we have to put off today?
Okay, the class is all good here.
All good. Well, with that, I would like to thank you. I hope it was of value, the mentorship and the speakers. Okay, I'm very excited about doing this, and I'll see you next Thursday class. Okay.
And one more thing, one final announcement
please.
is the attendance code word is MadWorld, as well as the website is more updated. Going to be adding the speakers list soon as well. So stay tuned for that.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, man. Let's virtually high five, guys. Virtually high five. Awesome.
Cool.
You're rock.
Thank you
guys.
all.
Bye. Bye.